Welcome to Mommy Heal Thyself. We feature guests who provide you with the tools, resources, and strategies you need to say no to a life of pain and suffering from all forms of preventable disease, toxic drugs, and unnecessary surgeries. We hope to inspire you to boldly reclaim your ability to heal and to serve the ones you love.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Mommy Heal Thyself. And I am super stoked for today's episode because we are here with the 90-Day Divas. Yes, we've got divas in the house. And they are three successful female entrepreneurs who have combined their coaching superpowers to help people like you, my lovely, beautiful ladies, to jump off the hamster wheel of corporate life and to launch into businesses that actually spin their wheels. They know the frustration of working countless hours to line someone else's pockets and have each assessed coaching help to start and refine your businesses. So now they have 45 years of combined business experience and have collectively impacted thousands of professionals and shared the stage with Olympians, musicians, and prime ministers. Woo! I tell you, oh man. And from holding an MBA to walking on hot coals and becoming the #1 best-selling author, these powerful women want to condense decades into days for their clients and inspire them to go for their dreams. So ladies, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us, Michelle. Yeah, we're excited to be here.
Wow,
we really live up to that big intro.
So now tell me, where are you guys located?
So we're in New Zealand. Some of us are on the East Coast and some of us are in the middle part of the North Island. So yeah, on the other side of the world from you.
Yeah, I know you told me you're like a day ahead of me. So you're going to see tomorrow. You're going to forecast my tomorrow before I even get to my tomorrow because it's still Thursday here.
Well, the good thing is it's looking good. So
yeah, I was going to say, it's an awesome day tomorrow. So you've got nothing to worry about. Lay down those worries because it's a really good day tomorrow.
Awesome. I tell you. So now, ladies, I would love for you to just give us a little intro about each of you individually, because I've talked about you as a group, but I would love to know individually what each of you brings to the 90-Day Diva trio.
Right. Cool.
Brilliant.
Go, Jen.
Oh, all good. Hey, I'm Jennifer Myers. And yeah, I'm an American who now lives in New Zealand. So I'm an Amerikiwi. And I've been a certified business and leadership coach and have had a business over here for the last 13 years, working with service providers to help them improve their leadership muscle, look at the big picture and the strategy in their business, and work through how to be better communicators and relationship builders with their teams. So I create bespoke training programs and do coaching for leaders and their teams.
Nice.
Go on, Luce.
Yeah, hi, I'm Lucy Freacher. I'm a marketing digital expert. I help businesses with their online presence, really starting from the branding, their niching, the messaging to how they want to appear online and who they want to attract. I was the one who left the corporate world about 5 years ago and started my business and wouldn't do it any other way, basically. I'm really excited that I did. It was scary at the time, but I've been enjoying the ride. And I guess I want to just inspire and motivate many other women to do the same, to really step into their power and to live the life that they've been dreaming of, and stop being held back by all this fear, all this guilt, worthiness issues. And that's why us, the 90-Day Divas, really want to be here and to support many more women to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. And I'm Carol Reed, and so I help businesses and individuals with their mindset. So I'm a certified happiness trainer from Marcy Shimoff's work. So I love that sort of stuff, being able to bring that era of happiness in there and lots of science around it, and really getting into the entrepreneurial mindset. How can you move from an operator to an owner, and also, how can you kind of, get out of that thinking working for someone else but working for yourself. There's a little bit of a change there that's got to happen around the way you're approaching things, the way you're thinking about things, and the way, you know, you're creating the situations that unfold. So I help you with all of that sort of stuff. And as Lucy says, really excited to be here, and also excited to be able to help women get out of their own way, you know? Yeah.
So now, ladies, as a combo trio, what is the biggest problem that you help women to solve?
Carol?
Right. Well, I guess one of the biggest things is that we take them out of that fear space, as Lucy was saying, but we also allow them to be able to really get into what is their superpower themselves. So embracing their own kind of uniqueness that they bring, and really helping them to dial that back and then create a whole system and platform to be able to move forward from that. So it's almost a bit of a strip back and audit back, and then let's dive forward with what we can do to get you going in your business.
So now, what are some of the typical symptoms that women would be experiencing that would make them have that aha moment that, you know what, I really need to reach out to the divas?
Stress, feeling underappreciated, overworked. You know, when we think about somebody who's just ready for something new, ready for that next step in their life, it could be somebody wanting to jump out of corporate. It might be somebody who's, you know, perhaps a little bit older, who's saying, you know, as we were talking about before we started the interview, you know, what's next? I want to embrace me and find out who I am and what I want for my business. So yeah, it's just really kind of helping them get clarity and really step out of that frustration and feeling that there's got to be more, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I guess also on that, it's really that feeling of freedom. You want to have that freedom and being able to work on your terms and get out of that feeling of feeling trapped that you often can have in our society.
Yep.
Totally. And another thing that we had spoken about just before we started is that sometimes it's also that feeling of financial insecurity and wanting to have more financial independence and wanting to feel more that you are contributing more to your family financially, you know.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the thing with finances is that they give you more choices, you know, so it's all about that, isn't it? So when you can feel like you have choice in your life, then so many other doors and windows and, you know, things come in front of you that, you know, you can take opportunity for. It's when we're feeling contracted and when we're feeling stifled that, you know, we just don't live into our best selves, because we're constantly reacting instead of being able to think about proactively, what do we need to do?
Yeah. You know, and we just finished going through several years of corporations downsizing, and I don't think they're finished with all of that, you know, and that sense of insecurity, feeling like your life is dependent on someone else's pen, you know, so that could be kind of scary. And I know a lot of women who want to have more of a sense of control with regards to their financial destiny, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a really scary place to be, Michelle, when you're, you know, sitting there wondering if you're going to be next. So being able to say, you know what, I've got a plan. I don't need to feel like this anymore. That's what we want for our clients. Yeah.
Yeah. Also there, we like to say, step into the driver's seat and take control over your life and your business. Yeah. What your next steps will be.
Awesome. Yep. So now, what are some of the common mistakes that women make when trying to start up a business?
I think a lot of
transition, you know, from the professional corporate career to being a business owner.
Go for it, Lucy.
Yeah, well, there's a few that come to mind. I think one is definitely overthinking that whole, like we already said, that fear-based, am I good enough? Can I really do it? Am I educated enough? Especially women, we overthink a lot. We really think it needs to be 99% correct before I can do it, or I need to have another certificate just to prove everyone that I really can do it. When we compare it with males, it's a lot less. They are basically just going for it. And as Carol likes to say, fake it till you make it. Yeah. So I guess a big thing that we see is they don't even start because they just got so many limiting beliefs that they think they're not good enough, can't do it. And I guess that's a big part where we really step in. And yeah, that's a big part that Carol does, is like help with the mindset to overcome those fears.
Yeah, bringing your confidence up. Lucy's totally right. You know, I think the stats are something like if a man and a woman went for the same role and a man, you know, only knew 50% of it, he would still put his hand up and go for it. A woman wouldn't even go, wouldn't even put her hand up, wouldn't even try. You know, she's got to be like 95% or more capable of doing that role before she'll even try for it. Whereas a man, you know, he'll just have a go. So I guess we kind of want to bring in some of that bit of masculinity in terms of that confidence and, you know, that bit of ego, you know, in a good way, to be able to really put ourselves forward and say, hey, we can do this, you know. And this is where the divas come in, because we're your cheerleading squad. We're right behind you, you know, going, you can do it, you can do it. When you're having those bad days, we're there. You know, it's that we're an email or we have a group that, you know, we talk in, you know, we're just one little step away to say, hey, I'm feeling like this today. Here's what you need to do. Do this, try this, you know. Yeah.
Totally, and really taking that pain away. So we really want to make it as easy and fun as possible to run your own business by really showing you how to do it and not just talking about what to do. I think that's also, we're really hands-on. We want to support where we can and give them the best tools that they can use. Yeah, there's so many tips and tricks that we can share with each and every one, and we do so.
It's having faith.
I think that's what drew me to you, you know, because it's like in 90 days, we can help you to find that plan to go from A to Z. And that just makes you go, okay, I'm not on my own. I don't have to figure everything out by myself. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, there's somebody who can guide me through that process, and it's within a certain time span, you know. So I remember when I was starting my business, I had to figure it all out for myself, you know, and I went through that whole zone of collecting 50 million different certifications and diplomas and this and that. And so that's why, I mean, my dossier has, like, I tell people I have enough paper to use for cat litter for months, you know. Any more paper at this point in time, you know.
So you resonate with the needing everything before you start. And
always thinking I need to be more, I need to learn more, you know, feeling like I need to do more instead of saying, you know what, let's just do it. And guys, they're very different. They're like, I'll figure it out as I go along. Whereas us, we have to have everything, you know, detailed, planned, and, you know, all the T's crossed and the I's dotted and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, we
make things so hard for ourselves, don't we? We just make things so hard. And I wrote something recently that's called "Life Doesn't Have to Be Hard," and we can translate that to business. Business doesn't have to be hard. There is no rocket science in what you need to do to start a business. It is just the mindset, having a plan, and being consistent, and, you know, having someone there to back you up, and, you know, the friendly challenger to help you take ownership of what you say you want to do.
Yeah. And we help you measure it too. Yeah. Measuring it as well. You got to measure where you're going so that you know, okay, my ladder might be up against the wrong wall right now. I need to move it to another wall, you know. So we help you with that too. But all of that stuff, you can set up systems and processes for that sort of thing. You know, it's not, like Jen says, it's not rocket science.
You know, and to put some of our women at ease, to know that actually that's how God designed us. God designed us to think in that manner. So when you look at the brain of a man and a woman, they're very different. They're hardwired very differently. And so it's about learning how to go with that flow and not beat ourselves up for that particular hardwiring, and yet move beyond it and expand into, like what you said, to take on more of that masculine energy and that masculine approach when appropriate. It's not appropriate all the time. You know, there's a reason why God designed us the way he designed us. But, you know, there are times when it helps us to expand. So now, what's the number one tip that you would be able to give our women?
I think just on what you said before, one big thing that I think helps a lot is really listen to your gut feeling and trust yourself. Like, yeah, like you just said, we are that feminine energy, we're that flow. We have so much that comes our way. So listen to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say, get clear on what you really want. Because quite often we're, as I say, reacting and sort of, going along and doing the motions, but actually not really clear on what we want. So intentional living, I talk about live with intention, so if you're working in a corporate and you're not enjoying it, let's get some steps happening so that you can enjoy it. What does that look like? And just having that bit of vision for your life. Take that little bit of time to envision what it is that you really want, because there's I forget the exact statistics, but there's a massive amount of people, it's well over 50%, that don't even know what they want in life. So don't be in that space. Be someone who lives intentionally, that really goes for what they want, and that's where we help you.
Absolutely. It's that investment in yourself, because you're so important. This is your life. So live it, and live it the way you want. Don't live it by someone else's rules, or, living to please everyone else. Please yourself. And if that means starting a business, then gosh darn it, go out and start a business, but get help, invest in yourself and get help. Don't try to DIY it, because it's hard. That is hard.
Who you telling? Who you telling? Woo, I've learned the hard way to get help. I think that's the other thing that we get in our society. We feel like we have to figure it all out by ourselves. We've got to be superwoman. We've got to be the super mom, the super wife, the super this, the super that. And we feel a sense of shame or guilt if we're not able to do it on our own, and I love the fact that you ladies have come together in that kind of sisterhood to create this business, because too many times we as women are cat fighting with each other, and it is so critical to create sisterhood to help us all to thrive and to flow, like you said, and to be able to be at ease and not have to carry the burden all by ourselves. So I'm just in awe of the two of you working together. I just love it, love it, love it, love it. So if
we do think that's a unique thing about us, and so many people who work with it. We had one person say, "Oh my gosh, you guys are like my business B12 shots every time I get together with you." And we're like, yes, that is awesome. So
now if each of you can tell me, what is the one concept or book or program or TED Talk, whatever it is, or person that has been most inspirational or impactful for you in your life?
Go on, Jen.
Oh, there's been so much, but I think probably, to get really personal here, the person who's been most impactful on my life has been my Aunt Kay. Back when I was a little kid, she's not my real aunt, but I met her when I was 6, and we were friends till she passed away when I was 28. And I tell her story all the time as her legacy, because she's an amazing spirit, an amazing energy. She was confident. She went out and traveled by herself. Yeah, she was married, but she was just a strong, independent woman. And I respected that so much. So she just comes up immediately for me all the time.
Lucy? Or
yeah, I was just thinking there's a few really cool books and mentors in the space that I really admire. I guess it starts with Denise Duffield Thomason. I think she's a real cool. She talks about money mindset and running your business, and she's got this book called Chillpreneur, and I really resonated with that. It's really life and business can be fun, and it can be chill, and it can run the way you need it to run. So if you got family, if you got hobbies, you can really go for it. And she's just got this really nice ease about herself. I feel it's very inspiring.
Nice.
Awesome. As Lucy says, there's been so many over the years, but many years ago when I did do the walk on hot coals, that was with a chap called Robin Banks, and he's from South Africa, and he's an amazing guy, and he came out to New Zealand and ran some seminars, and that was really when I started to really decide on my mindset, changing my mindset on where I was at. That would have been gosh, I suppose about 15 years ago at least. But it was really good. And so it set me on a different path. But I'm even before that, I remember buying Tony Robbins online training, years ago and listening to that, doing walks and having Tony in my head and stuff. Yes, you sort of you swing in roundabouts, I think, and it all comes into your life as it needs to at the time, and you take from it what you need, and then you move through and put a bit of that in your back pocket, and then move through to the next thing. But I think we've always got to be journeying, always on that in that personal development path, because I feel like there's so much more leveling up to do, so much more to expand ourselves. There's so much more we need to understand about ourselves, and when we know thyself, then we can do so much more, right?
Yeah, we do this all the time. Every time we've got Diva office hours every week where we get together and we, do the things we need to do in our business, and we always bring something to the table that we've been reading, working on, a course we're taking, and kind of sharing that with each other and going, wow, this is what I learned from that. And then, of course, sharing what we can where it's appropriate with clients. So it's like, it feels so nice to just be able to let that stuff flow through you to other people. It's something from my perspective that was a really formative book for me, which is an oldie but a goodie, is the How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Now, it's not a fun read, but it's so basic, right? There's no rocket science, but it's a great way to build relationships, which is a huge part of my business. Yeah.
I love that book. And Think and Grow Rich was the other one. I read the two of those together when I was about 18, and that expanded my mind. Yeah. And of course, The Secret's a great book too. There's lots of stuff in there. It's an oldie, but
so now, speaking of relationships, I forgot to ask you guys this. How did you guys come together? What made you guys decide to do this venture of 90 Day Divas together? Were you friends before, or what's the backstory?
It's all on Lucy. It's Lucy's fault.
It is.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking, it's COVID's fault too. Because we met, we met online it was a speed dating online session, and somehow Jen caught my eye, and then I was like, let's have a rave or like a meeting after that together. And we just started talking. We just resonated so strongly with the same visions, what we actually wanted in business. And I knew Carol from another business event or networking event, and we sort of thought, why don't we do it all together? Because we've got the same idea. Why should each individual do the same thing if we can come together and collaborate and actually bring way more into it? And it was just beautiful. And I think one thing we always say too is we've all left our ego at the doorstep and just made this happen.
Yeah, we've all got strong personalities, so it's been really interesting to just see generally how easy it is for us to work together. And I think that's because we've got big goals, we've got big visions, we all want the same thing, and we all kind of serve the same market. So it's like, let's do this. We can do it together.
That is so super.
Yeah, and I think we're curious. The three of us are very curious. That's a big similarity. We always are curious about something else that we've learned. Like Jen says, we come together and we've learned something. I saw this thing, or I heard that thing, and what about this? We share our own individual insights, and we get that fodder from each other, which levels us all up. And then so you come away feeling inspired when we have our office hours. It's never ever, I never sit in an office hours going, I wish I wasn't doing this. Never.
It's so cool.
We just love each other's energy, and we love having fun together.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I just love hearing about how you guys work together, and it brings so much more value to the people that you serve, because you all put different pieces of the puzzle together, and it's just, oh gosh, it must be wonderful. So now, ladies, what is one valuable free resource that you can direct our women to that will further help them in making that transition from careers, the professional world of working for somebody else, to creating their own business?
So, Luce, we've got a couple of things on our website.
We do. Yep. So the easiest is to go onto our website, 90 Days Divas, as in 9090.com. And we've got a blog. We do regular weekly blog posts where we got different topics. Either you not starting in the business already, or you want to figure out some details. Like our latest one is all about ownership and managing a business. We also have a podcast, the Blueprint Bosses podcast on Spotify, Apple, iTunes. So that's all there. We have a few downloads too. So there's a few things there on that website.
Awesome. And ladies, you don't have to remember everything about the website because I'm going to include the link in our show notes. So don't worry about it. We will make sure that you are provided with those links in the show notes. So ladies, what is one question that I should have or could have asked you that would help our ladies even more in their journey to becoming powerful and full of prosperity and peace?
I can't think of anything. I think you've covered lots of things. I mean, I guess, Go, Jen.
Maybe one question, how can they work with us? Like, what would it look like working with us?
So what would it look like for women to work with you?
Amazing. Basically what we and fun
with the divas.
If it ain't fun, why amazing? So no, we actually work in a group coaching format. So it's not, you get the three of the experienced brains around the table with the information and the guidance. But oh my gosh, the group dynamic when we have a 90-day group coaching program called the 90-Day Business Blueprint, and it's fantastic to watch our participants or students, whatever you want to call them, begin to coach each other after a couple of sessions once they get comfortable. And I'm sure that, you've experienced this too in various places, Michelle, but it's just the coolest thing for everyone around the table to be putting in suggestions, experience, have you thought about? It's very, rewarding.
I mean, I tell my students all the time that I am truly an educator, meaning that I get goosebumps, I get overjoyed when my students don't need me anymore and they're able to teach each other, and I can just step back and I'm just like all smiles, like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I truly can relate to what you say, that when you see people able to be there for each other within the group setting, that is most amazing feeling.
Because I guess the thing with that too is that you are asking. We have a Q&A session every 2 weeks as well, and you're asking questions that someone else may have thought of but hasn't quite articulated, or you're asking something for a question right now that doesn't matter right now, doesn't have relevance right now, but then next week it's like, oh, that question that they asked is so bang on, because so that's that whole kind of collective mindedness. When we come into that collective space with our minds, then we create a mastermind, a hive mind, and that hive mind just really flows and starts to really and you get really excited about what's going on. You start to see things differently. And there's that great saying, isn't there, by Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's just how it is. That's an absolute truth. And so you start to level up your life, and we just love seeing that. We love seeing people step into their real power. It's so cool.
So ladies, thank you so very much for joining us today. And everyone in our listening audience, remember that you are beautiful. And I look forward to seeing you for our next episode of Mommy Heal Thyself. Until later. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Mommy Heal Thyself. If you like what we're doing here, please share, subscribe, like us, and leave a comment. Your feedback